Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to your very own BYJU'S 9th and 10th grade channel. I'm your teacher Aishwarya and I welcome you to today's class where we are going to be looking at the chapter Heredity, and most importantly we will be looking at 10 guaranteed type of questions that will come in the examination. So I hope that all of you are ready for this class. So very quickly students, please do let me know if my audio, my video and my screen and whatever I'm writing on the screen is visible to all of you. If it is, give me a quick thumbs up to let me know that we are good to go. So I can see that many of you are here already. So good evening all of you. Good evening. I can see Jishna, good Harshit, Neelam, Comfy Studies, Ayushman is here. Good evening. I can see Ashvi as well. Hello. Everything is good. Everything is visible. Now, many people who are here do not want to study, or somebody is asking me, ma'am, what is heredity? Now is the time, or now is the best time that you all, I hope you have opened your textbook. Yes, you've all checked your chapters. Heredity is a very, very important chapter that is there. So please students, I hope that all of you have gone through your syllabus clearly, because from this chapter there are going to be questions. And today what are we going to be doing? We will be looking at 10 questions which are going to be exam important. That means that there are going to be a type of questions, especially your case-based questions, right? Or in some cases it could be even your 5-mark questions. What would happen in this particular case, especially in your 5-mark questions, you will get some questions which are based on principles of Mendelian inheritance, right? Or based on your laws of Mendelian genetics. So based on that, when you first see it, you will be like, ma'am, everything aise ja raha hai. But what are we going to do? We will be looking at 10 questions that will now make us comfortable and will now make us understand how we need to solve some such questions. Which is why students stay with me till the very end, because today's class will be maximum 40 to 45 minutes. I'll not take longer than that, but jaldi se we will wind up our syllabus, right? Or wind up the idea of solving such questions. And end mein, what is my job? To make it a point that when you see such questions later, you will be like, arey ma'am, this is at the tip of my fingers. I will be able to solve it easy peasy, right? That is why. So when you come to class, make it a point, you have your notebook, you have your textbooks, you have your water bottle, everything ready. Yes, make it a point that you are in a quiet place to study. Make sure that you are not, disturbed. Make sure that you are focusing on what you are doing right now. Yes? Okay. Ma'am, we have a lag. Is it? Can you all refresh your screens, please? Yes? Hello, Subhash. Ma'am, your Wi-Fi problem. My Wi-Fi too is fine. It's just that sometimes there's a YouTube issue where there are glitches happening. Everybody, I have my phone in front of me. There is no lag. Everything is good to go. Okay? Now, students who are in grade 8, I'll tell you this will be tough for you. So if you're not from 10th, this is going to be difficult. Yes, for social sciences, we will be having the class done soon. So don't worry. Okay? Now, before I go ahead, first and foremost, today, I may not be going into the details of certain topics because that has already been done. Which is why if you've not watched the one-shot video, I recommend that you first watch the one-shot explanation for the chapter, right? So watch the one-shot explanation. I will be pinning these links on the comments of this video so that you can click on it and you can watch it. Secondly, earlier for your previous batch as well, I have done the easiest method to solve some heredity numericals. Now the number of questions I have solved in this video are relatively lesser. I think I've done only about 5, but I have done some complicated and a variety of questions. So if you want to solve more questions, you can watch this video. I will again provide the link in the comments, right? So these 2 videos are going to be very, very important because we have covered important terminologies. Yes? Awesome. So now that we are clear, many of you, to my live audience, and I know many of you will be watching this video later, how many of us are still confused? मैम हेरिडिटी क्या होता है, मैम ये अलील क्या है, जीन क्या है, what is homozygous, what is heterozygous, what is monohybrid, are the terms dancing in our heads even now? Yes, are we still dancing all these terminologies, jumping from one end to the other? More or less we are all confused, right? Ma'am, little bit. No, ma'am. Ma'am, me full. Rashi is like, ma'am, I throw my hands in the air right in the beginning. I will be honest with you. Ma'am, after 130 questions, I feel better. I feel good that all of you feel good about that. We'll solve more and more such questions. Don't worry. Ma'am, is character and trait same or different? No. That is why I knew this. That is why right from the beginning, we will clear our terminologies. Which means that now when I discuss these terms, you need to be all eyes and ears, right? Don't get distracted when I'm explaining. I will take 5 minutes of your time to explain this. All the terms are put in a beautiful table for you. What do you need to do? Give me 5 minutes of complete attention. I am going to sort this out once and for all, right? So let's have a look. This chapter's name is Heredity. What is heredity? Heredity is basically when characters, right, or information is passed on from one generation. That means from parent to offspring, right? When it's passed on from parent to offspring, we call this as heredity or inheritance, right? When it is passed on from one generation or the other. Now here we are saying that there is passing on of characters. So what are these characters? Pay attention, Shreya, you are asking me this. Characters are basically any feature, right? Observable features in an organism is what we call as characters. So here in this particular case, hair color, if you look at hair type, hair color, eye color, right, or skin color, these are all characteristics that are there, or characters. But now, let's assume we have a character. Let's take the example as hair color. Hair color is an observable feature. But we see that hair color is not one type. There are going to be various types, right? There could be some which are, so basically we have some which is, some people who have black color. We have some who have brown hair color. Some who have, blonde hair color. So in this particular case, what do you see? There are various alternatives, right? So we see that even though there is an observable feature, each observable feature has alternative forms. So here, the distinct alternatives of a character is what we call as a trait, right? So that is what we mean as a trait. Character, observable feature. Trait, the alternative forms, right? So that is what we mean by this. Vaishnavi and Bhagi, if you want me to time you out from the class, keep at it. Otherwise, please pay attention. You don't want to pay attention today, it is okay. Come back later. But if you're having this parallel conversation, I will block you today. Yes? Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. Now you've understood broadly, right? Broadly, what is character and trait? Yes? At a upper level, you have understood what is character and trait. Now, let's understand at a genetic level. So, if my character is any observable feature, right? If this is any observable feature, this information for a character is what I will see in a gene. What is a gene? A gene that is there is basically a fragment of DNA that codes for a particular character. Now we are clear? Yes. Now on the other hand, right, we see that it controls the expression or the information for a character. While on the other hand, we know that every character has various traits. No, so many traits are there, alternative forms that are there. Hence, in this particular case, what do we see? We see that there should be alternative forms of the gene also, right? So, one or more alternative forms of the gene is what we call as an allele. Yes? Are we clear? This is what we call as an allele. And now we know every gene has a specific location on the chromosome. Hence, we see that this allele, the alternative form, is also present on the present on that particular location as well. So, are you all clear so far? Yes? Are you all clear? Okay. Very good. I'm coming, Gunjan. I'm coming. Pay attention. See, if you all want to get ahead of me, it becomes difficult. But if you keep up with me and you tell what I'm teaching is fine, then it is good, no? Ma'am, allele once again. ठीक है. This is my chromosome, right? This is one chromosome. Now I told you that there is a gene, which is a fragment of DNA, right? That codes for a particular character. Now what is your chromosome made up of? We know that a chromosome that is there is basically nothing but condensed DNA. So eventually a gene will occupy a specific location on the chromosome. Yes, it will occupy a specific location. So here we say that this is a gene that occupies a specific location. Now we see that there are alternative forms of a gene. Now if I have a gene for hair color, I see that there could be the same gene, but one form of this coding for black color, one form of it coding for, maybe red color, one that could code for blonde color, right? So I have alternative forms. These alternative forms of the same gene is what I will call as an allele. So an allele, there could be an allele that codes for black hair, allele that codes for red hair, allele that codes for blonde hair. But when I use the word gene, gene is a specific segment that codes for character. Okay? Awesome. Trait is alternative form of character. See, inheritance is passing it on from generation after generation. Yes? Okay. Now we will move on to the next one, which is variation. So in sexual reproduction, what do we observe? We see that there is one set of genes or one set of characters coming in from the mother, one set coming in from the father. Which is why what happens in the offsprings, we see that there is one set coming in from both mother and father. Which is why we see that because there is mixing of genetic information, there will be some slight differences that exist, right? That is why here what do we see? We see that the slight differences that exist at a genetic level is what we call as variation. Yes? Now, along with this, what do we see? This happens because one set is coming from father and mother, right? So let's understand this once and for all. Father, mother. One set of genes coming from father. So I will draw the chromosome. Yes. Now this is coming from mother. I'll draw it in blue color. Okay. Actually, I should draw only one. It makes it easy. So what will happen? Now this is your offspring, right? Now your offspring is made up of what is coming from both father and mother. Yes. It's coming from both father and mother. Now let's assume, right, for our benefit. Now let's assume that there is some gene, maybe for hair color only. This is a gene for hair color. But now, what do you observe? You observe that here we have one for hair color, one coming from father, one coming from mother. Now see, it's not one gene coming, all the genes will come, just that we are taking one example, right? Now here what do you see? You see that there are two possibilities, okay? There are 1 in 2 possibilities that can happen. Now this gene that I represented, it could either be in this form. Now I'll show you two cases. This is case 1, okay? And this is case 2, what you see in the offspring. Now can you tell me one thing? I showed that there is case 1 where I drew both the chromosomes in the same color. While in case 2, what did I show you? I showed you that they are shown in different colors, right? Which means that in case 1, what have I shown you? That they are similar set, right? So if I take a set, they are a similar set, yes? They are similar. See, first of all, they are similar. So we'll call this condition as homozygous when they are similar. But now I use 2 different colors to represent it, which means that this is dissimilar. And what will I call this condition as? Heterozygous, right? Heterozygous condition. Are you all clear? Homozygous will have a similar pair. That means that the genes, right? The genes that are there or the alleles that we take, they are similar or they are the same. But if the alleles that come together, they are different, then we will call it as dissimilar or heterozygous. Now remember, I am only giving you a revision. I am not teaching you from scratch. Because if I sit to teach from scratch, no, today full day we will only learn basics. That is why if you feel, ma'am, aapka explanation thoda idhar udhar hai, that is because I am coming to the main point, right? I am directly coming to the main point. That is why I recommend that this video will be more effective for you if you probably watch it after the one shot. Because those of you who have read the chapter or watched the one shot, I know that You are feeling confident now, right? Ma'am, can a chromosome have more than 2 factors? Yes, Jishna, it can. It is not always key one gene codes for one character. Sometimes there could be multiple genes coding for many characters. I mean, for one character. Ma'am, allele and traits are a bit similar, but traits are shown physically like phenotype and alleles like genotype. Nahi, Ayushman, you're confusing it a little. Yeah, okay, correct. Trait basically is what you see on the outside. Inside is what is the allele, the terminology that we use for. Ma'am, how dominant and recessive? Now here you know that alleles are alternative forms of a gene. Now when in these alternative form, one is always going to express itself and the other gets suppressed, that is a dominant allele. But the one that can only express itself in that similar condition I showed you, then that is what we call as recessive. Yes? Now, along with this, we have also learnt about acquired and inherited traits. Inherited traits are those which can be passed on from generation to generation. Acquired is what you acquire over a lifetime. Monohybrid, dihybrid cross. Monohybrid is where you take one single character and cross it. Dihybrid is where you take 2 characteristics and cross, right? Okay. So with this, we have done with our revision and we will get started with the questions. Now, the more we do questions, the more you will feel comfortable. Okay? So, are you all ready? Are you all ready for the questions? Don't worry. See, don't worry. Today, we are going to get you all, more comfortable with the chapter, right? So, if you're still confused, it's okay. We will keep learning more and more and it's going to be fine. Yes? So now the first 3 questions that I have are MCQ based, so you can give me the answer here, right? Some of them are going to be repeated, so please don't mind. Speciation nahi hai, syllabus mein delete ho gaya. A recessive homozygote is crossed with a heterozygote. Now see, the terms, if homozygote, heterozygote comes, it's still with reference to homozygous condition or heterozygous condition, okay? So a recessive homozygote is crossed with a heterozygote of the same gene. What will be the phenotype of F1 generation? Can you tell me the answer to this? Okay. There's actually some issue with my laptop to give you poll, so please don't mind. Everybody confidently giving me answer as option A. How many of you have done the Punnett square? Yes? Ma'am, B. Okay, shall we break it down? So now when you have this question, how are you going to solve it? Because I'll be honest, many of you have gone, wrong. 1 hour, Subhash, I'll not take longer than that today. 1 hour. Aram se we'll do. A recessive homozygote. So what is given to us? What is given is there is a recessive homozygote that is crossed with a heterozygote, right? So now let's consider T to be the dominant gene, right? So we'll just assume T is a dominant gene and small t, right? Small t here is recessive. So we shall assume this. Now based on this, how will we break this down? That means that in this particular case, I'll write it on this side. If it has to be a recessive homozygote, my one parent is small t, yes, then I have a heterozygote. If it has to be heterozygote, then what will it be? We will cross it as this and this, yes. Now in this case, when I do my Punnett square and I make the cross, what are we going to get? So let me put this here. I'm going to use 2 different colors now. So one we are going to get in this manner, right? And the other we are going to get in this manner. So now what are you getting? You are getting 50%. So 50% here is in heterozygous condition, which means what is the case? 50% here is dominant, while 50% are homozygous recessive, right? So what will it be? 50% recessive. Are you clear? Now what is the answer? Answer is option C. Yes, answer is option C, where it is 50% dominant, 50% recessive. Now you, Subhash, you asked me, ma'am, should I make the Punnett square? If you are sure that you will make silly mistakes when you do the cross mentally, please write and do. See, in MCQ questions, this is possible. This can come, right? So you need to make it a point that you all solve it. Write what is given to you first. Then make the assumption and then do the cross. Ma'am, nobody has read. We are all in a hurry. We are all in a hurry to give the answer. Yes. So everyone take a screenshot of this. I'll share the PDF on Telegram, but in the meanwhile, take a screenshot as well. Have you all understood? Have you all understood how we arrived at this? Yes or no? Have we understood how we have arrived? ठीक है. Ma'am, पहले ही confidence drop हो गया. Now I'm worried about looking at the other questions. I have some tougher questions coming your way. But see, the more you do, it'll be easy. Diti, Charan, if you're in 6th standard, you will be scared for your life coming to 10th then. Ma'am, I crossed. So, Ashvi, if that comes, no, that is only when there is a dominant homozygote. So, read those statements clearly. Okay? Awesome. Now, we will move on to the next one. Now, read it step by step and see what is given to you. A homozygous dominant guinea pig with black fur is crossed with a homozygous guinea pig with white fur. The F1 generation is crossed with itself. What is the percentage of F2 generation that is expected to show white fur coat? Now here you try to give me the answer first and then I will tell you. Easy. This is easy. Ma'am, A, B, C, D. Everybody is now giving me all sorts of answers. Double fertilization, I will explain towards the end because that's from a different chapter. So please don't continue spamming. Simple. Ye to easy peasy, right? Divyanshu, SSD pre-boards day after. If you don't mind in terms of strategy, can I give it at the end of the class because midway it will disturb my flow. I will pick up your question towards the end. What is given to you? Okay, it is given that there is an organism with black fur. So let us assume this is capital B, and then one with white fur. Now you will tell me, ma'am, how can you assume that white fur is recessive? So now normally if you see in such cases when they ask you questions, beginning may they'll give you the dominant trait, right? Beginning may they'll give you the dominant trait and then they'll give you recessive. They'll indirectly give it to you, yes? So here you have your normal, straightforward monohybrid cross. So these are your parents, which means that in F1 you are going to get a heterozygous condition where all have black fur. Yes, all of them have black fur. So when you cross F1 generation, what will happen? You will get phenotype in the ratio 3:1, where 3 are black. Yes, and 1 will have white fur. Do you want me to do the cross? If you want me to do the cross, I will show it to you. So parent having black fur crossed with that with white fur, right? So in F1 generation, we will get all black. Why? Because they are in this condition. Yes, heterozygous. Heterozygous. Now in F2, what will I do? So for my F2 generation, I will do this cross. Okay. So here what will I get? Here when I will cross, draw my Punnett square. So this is for students who may get confused with the cross. Okay. So those of you who know the answer, it's okay. End may what are you getting? End may we are looking for this condition, white fur, right? So here we see that this is having white, while these three that are there are black. So ratio is 3:1, right? So percentage wise, when I take, what would it be? It would be 25%. So correct answer. Everyone take a screenshot of the same. Okay? Screenshot jaldi se. Awesome. So in this particular case, what do you see? In this case, the correct answer is option A. Ma'am, is it always true that the first will always be dominant? Not really. In some cases, first recessive could also be mentioned. Now in this case, this is a PYQ from I think 2020 or 19, but normally they will give it to you. Yes, they will give it to you. Now we'll move on to the next one. This is easy peasy. A blue color flower plant is denoted as BB. So this is blue color and it is crossbred with that of white color denoted BB. So this is white. Now, what colors can you expect in F2 generation? Very, very simple, right? Straightforward. They have also given you genotypes here. Genotypes are given to you. You should be able to give me the answer easily. Rashmi is asking me, ma'am, in the last question, 2 gametes are formed after the mixing of alleles. So does this mean that there will be 2 offsprings? See, when there is mixing of alleles formed, right, those are the possible combinations that you can get in the offspring. See, when a parent with whatever combination comes, right, there are multiple, especially when 2 heterozygous parents come together. We are saying that these are the possible combinations. Not that they will make 4 babies and this is the combination that we are going to get. But the idea is that these are the possible ways in which the alleles could mix and these could be the possible outcomes in the offspring. So Rashmi, I hope that we have given the answer. Ma'am, how do we write this type of question? Subhash, are you asking me how we will do it if it is subjective? If you are asking me that, I have questions for that. So don't worry. Aarti Bacha, I think you might have to watch the one-shot ones. Otherwise, it will be difficult. Ma'am, 1 marker, should we make Punnett square? No. See, I recommend making Punnett square so that you don't make silly mistakes. Question number 1 may only 95% of you went wrong because you made silly mistakes. That is why I'm telling you, make it in case if you feel, ma'am, hoga kuch idhar udhar. Okay. Ma'am, look at the answers. Everybody's like, ma'am, C, maybe C. Good, guys. Don't be so scared. Don't be scared. Your answers are correct only. Very good. Correct answer is C. Feel confident about it. Now you've got the answer. Okay? So we know that if your parents show homozygous condition, right? So if it is homozygous condition, we have capital B crossed with homozygous recessive. F1 may, of course, all our plants are going to be heterozygous. That means all are going to be blue. But in F2, what will happen? Your recessive trait will reappear. So you will get these possible combinations. Hence, what would be the answer? You will get a mix of blue flowers as well as white flowers. Yes? So very good, all of you. Very, very good. Human inheritance ke liye Punnett is not preferred because for human inheritance also you can do it. But normally what they will ask you is, they will ask you sex determination. Sex determination, not necessarily you need to make Punnett square, right? ठीक है. That's all. This is the last MCQ that I have. Everything else is subjective for you to solve. Ma'am, should we remember ratio? See, you don't need to remember it. I mean, you have to remember, but it's easy to remember. Okay? See, students, I told you, whoever is not able to follow me, right? That means that conceptually, somewhere or the other, you are not clear. That's why recommendation is to watch one shot first. Yes? Advika, please don't spam now, please. Yes. The fear when you say you all again made silly. I know, right? Ma'am, in first one, why did you not apply law of domination? Meeta, I did apply law of domination, right? In question number 1, why did you not apply? I did apply. But the parent combination was different for question number 1. It was not homozygous dominant into homozygous recessive. It was heterozygous dominant into homozygous recessive. That's why combination is different. Okay? Okay. So with this, we will move on to question number 4. Now, are we ready for case-based questions? Yes? Are we ready for case-based questions? Let's get started, and this will help you understand how to write answers also, right? Now, first write down what is given to you. Always. Even if you write it in small, it's okay. Write it down. A cross was done between a pure pea plant. So, a pure tall pea plant and a pure dwarf pea plant. Okay? And then they said that F1 generation was obtained. Now later what did they say? They said they crossed this F1 and they got F2 generation. So this right here is your straightforward monohybrid cross. Nothing is complicated in this question. It is straightforward. Yes? So you have broken down your question. It is all simple. Now what are they asking? They are asking you what is the phenotype of F1 progeny and why. Now students, remember, in your examination they will use this word. It is going to be common. They will use the word pure. What does pure mean? Pure means homozygous, right? Remember, it means homozygous. So in this particular case, what has happened for part A? We need to solve for part A. So in this case, when we cross a homozygous tall plant with a homozygous dwarf plant, what are we going to get? If you draw the Punnett square, for students who get confused, I will draw it for you. If you draw this, you will end up getting every offspring, whatever combination you take. We see that all, I'll write this in white color. We see that all are tall, right? So they're asking what is the phenotype. So all the offsprings are going to be tall. Why? Because it is heterozygous dominant, right? So this right here is heterozygous dominant, or you can write down the combination. They are all showing TT, right? So this right here is very simple. So this is why all are tall. Now they're asking you part B. So this will come for 1 mark. You have got 1 mark. Now part B is asking you, this will come for 2 marks. Give the phenotypic, this will come for 1 mark again. Give the phenotypic ratio of F2. How will you get F2? You will get F2 by crossing your F1, right? So for F2, what will you do? These are your parents. Both are heterozygous tall. So when you draw the Punnett square, what are you going to get? So when you draw the Punnett square, here you have one parent, here you have the other. So these are the possible combinations that you will end up getting. Now the question is asking you only for phenotype. What is the phenotype? The observable features, right? So what are the observable features? We see that 3 out of 4, right? So we see that the ratio is 3:1, where 3 are tall and 1 offspring is dwarf, right? So the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. Now last May, what are they asking you? What is the difference between F1 and F2 generation? What is the difference between F1 and F2 generation? So can you tell me? Yes? Difference between F1 and F2 progeny. Now in F1 progeny, we saw that they are all in heterozygous condition. So we see that the dominant gene is always expressing itself while the recessive gene remains suppressed. So tallness is a dominant character. While in the case of F2 generation, we see that recessiveness or dwarfness reappears, right? And we see that the recessive gene is expressing itself only in homozygous condition. So when you are writing the answer, you need to write it in this manner. So you are asking me how to write the answer. This is exactly how we write it. So here, the first point you will say, when you have 2 different characters, when they are crossbred, we get, so in this particular case, we see that this right here, right? We get all tall plants, and in bracket you can mention the condition. Now when F1 is crossed, what do we get? In F2 we get majorly tall plants, but some dwarf plants too. And here the ratio is going to be 3:1. Now the third one is asking you to differentiate. You can write it. So here you can say that here all are tall because heterozygous dominant, while in F2 recessive law, based on law of dominance, basically we are able to get some dwarf also. So now are you clear? Are you all clear with how to write answers also? Yes? Now I'm going slow with the first few questions so that you get a hang of it, right? Ma'am, how can one gene code for multiple characters? No. Multiple gene can code for one character. That is the way we do it, right? Ma'am, can you explain C? Arey, C is easy. How is F2 different from F1? F1 may everything is in this condition. While in this one, what will happen? Some are like this, some are like this, some are like this. Possible combinations are coming, right? And that is because here, based on law of dominance, we are getting this. Yes? Crystal clear. Okay. Advika, fine. I'll take your question. Ma'am, what is law of independent assortment? I have a question for that. What dihybrid may independent assortment I'll be able to teach. Check my answer. No. In F1, homozygous recessive can't express due to law of dominance. Or you can say they're all heterozygous conditions, so dominant will express. Yeah, this works. But Subhash, you can just say, based on F1 may, you can just directly write heterozygous. Don't need to go roundabout about it. Ma'am, please give summary of questions. Oh, okay. Summary of questions will be difficult. I'm giving it to you in the beginning. Now let's move on to the next question. So this is for Advika, who asked me for independent assortment. Okay. Now I'll tell you. This is question number 5. All self-pollinated pea plants with round and yellow. We are back with two characters, dihybrid cross. So what did we get? We saw that we self-pollinated round and yellow seeds and we got these, right? So we got 630 seeds which were round and yellow, 216 which were round and green, 202 which were wrinkled and yellow, then we got 64 which were wrinkled and green. Analyze the result and tell me which mode of mechanism explains these results. Now monohybrid cross or dihybrid? I will stress on this. Identify monohybrid or dihybrid. ये mono है या dihybrid? Now I will catch you all. Very good. Exactly. How have you identified this as dihybrid? Because you are talking about round seeds, which means here they have mentioned seed shape. Then here what have they given us? They have given seed color, right? And they have told us that a majority of it was round and yellow. Some were round and green. So, right, these were close enough, these numbers. Yes? Then very less were wrinkled and green. So, roughly what do we see? We see that it is coming to a ratio of 9:3:3:1. So, here we are looking at the F2 generation of this cross. Now, what has happened? Which means your round and yellow seeds, right? Round and yellow. Okay, so your round and yellow seeds were in heterozygous condition. Now here, if you look at it, law of independent assortment, if I have to not use technical biology words and if I have to teach you in very simple words, right? You can think of it as when the genes are or when, let's say, gametes are being formed, right? Let's assume when gamete formation happens. This is all 1 allele, right? This is all 1 allele. So when you take two characters, it is not always key the dominant gene will be going together or these two genes will go together. There is no set combination that these two, let's say, alleles will go together, these two alleles will go together. But what do we understand? That they can go in any random manner. They will independently assort, right? So they will independently assort. They could go like this, they could go like this. They could either go in this manner or they could go in this manner. So they can combine or any combination. They can independently assort. What do you mean? Assortment, or if you've heard of assorted chocolates, right? What are assorted chocolates? Assorted chocolates are those chocolates which are not of the same kind. They are independent. So you will have to understand that during gamete formation, this is what we see. And end may, your dihybrid cross ka F2 may, you will get this, right? CRV boy, okay bacha, but don't spam. You pay attention in my class. Yes? So this you will have to explain a little bit. Not that these are inference based questions that will come. Yes. So here what is the ratio obtained? 9:3:3:1, which indicates that there's not one, it's not inherited from a single set, right? But rather we see that they have independently assorted, and you can talk about segregation and law of independent assortment, right? So again, the segregation that's happening is independent of other characters. So here both characters are there. Okay? Are we all clear? Are you all clear with this? Ma'am, genes present on the chromosome and each, okay, Rashmi has a good doubt. Gene present on a chromosome and each chromosome have their own gene to express. Then how can multiple gene code for one character? See, you are thinking very linearly, right? You are thinking very linearly that ma'am gene hoga, ye gene protein banega, ye protein ek character ho jayega. No. There will be sometimes, for example, skin color. I think it's eye color which has multiple characters. I forgot now. But let's assume skin color has more than one gene. Two genes are involved. What will happen is, this gene will produce one protein, this one will produce one protein. These two proteins collectively will work together such that we get skin color. So don't think of it as a linear relationship. Think of it as two ways in which they work. And understand that it is not कि एक chromosome से ये होगा. You need ample number of proteins to be produced. That's why in a normal scenario we have 46 chromosomes, right? Ma'am, last 2 points are not clear. See, basically last 2 points are telling ki you will get one set of chromosomes from mother, one you will get from father. Now the way those chromosomes come into mother and father, right, happens during gamete formation. So during that gamete formation, any kind of segregation can happen. Similarly, segregation and independent assortment can take place even at the progeny level. Okay, that is what we mean by it. Single set is basically, it's not pairwise, right? Okay. Ma'am, why any trait is dominant or recessive? Depends on how they express themselves. It is based on expression. Okay? Awesome. Are we clear? See, now the more we solve questions, I want you to start feeling confident. You should not be like, ma'am, more and more we solve questions, more and more I'm sinking in my seat thinking that, ma'am, ye nahi ho raha hai, right? Should not be, ma'am, more you will give and then I'll cry. No. It's okay. Ma'am, problem. You took so much time to give me such a fancy way. Ma'am, can it be medium tall? Yeah, it can be. See, height may... Now I'll ask you, who's asking medium tall? Sharag. You take our case. It depends upon... Now, in the case of pea plant, they are contrasting characters where it is either tall or dwarf. But if you look at human beings, there is no contrasting character, right? You have a range of characters in between. Those are concepts you will learn in your higher grades for now. But here in pea plant, there is a contrasting character which makes it easy to understand such concepts. Yes? Okay. Now let's have a look at the next question. This is question number 6. Few more questions to go. In the following crosses, write down the characteristic of the progeny. So basically, if I cross this, what progeny will I get? Or if I cross this progeny, this combination, what progeny will I get? So based on this, you need to tell me what are the possibilities. Just the names, like round and yellow or wrinkled and yellow. That is what you need to give me. So just give me one moment, all of you. Okay, so for the first one, we see that there is a homozygous condition which is round and yellow. Both parents are homozygous dominant. Progeny means offspring, Veronica. Progeny means offspring, right, baby? In other words, right? So here what do we see? If both parents are homozygous dominant, this means that we will get a young one which is round and yellow. Yes? Now in the next one, what do we see? We are getting in heterozygous condition, right? Heterozygous condition. So no, 9:3, not 2:1, but 9:3, 3:1 will not work. You have to tell me what are the 4 combinations. So you have round and yellow, you have round and wrinkled, round and green, you have wrinkled and yellow and wrinkled and green, right? So you will have to elaborate the 9:3, 3:1. The ratio alone will not do the trick. You will have to write it. That you have round yellow, round green, wrinkled yellow, wrinkled green. In what ratio? 9:3:3:1. Yes? So that is one aspect. Now next one we have wrinkled and green in recessive condition. So you can just say everything will be wrinkled and green. Last में homozygous dominant crossed with homozygous recessive, easy peasy, you will get round and yellow. To write progeny 1 1 1 1 1 mark, you will get 4 marks आराम से. Easily you will get 4 marks, right? Harshit, allele, think of it as alternative forms of a gene. If you have a gene for hair color, right, you should have alternative forms. One form that will code for black hair, one that will code for brown hair, one that is going to code for maybe blonde hair. Those alternative forms are what we call as allele. Okay? Okay, very good. Easy peasy, no? Simple. Now we will go to question number 7, which will take us some time, right? Which will take us some time. Because this is a sample paper question from 2022-23. So this is from your seniors. Okay. This is a case-based question which has come, and this is easy only. It's not too complicated. Now let's read the case, right? I've done this before also. Yeah, I've done this question before. Pooja has, ma'am, you make board exam heredity questions easy. Oh, thanks. It is easy. I'm telling you, I used to enjoy doing this so much in 10th, you know, like I used to have ICSE genetics, which was like little more complicated than CBSE genetics because we have a little bit more in depth. But it's simple. Nothing to worry. Now have a look. Pooja has green eyes. See, draw a family tree only. This is Pooja. Okay. What does Pooja have? Pooja has green eyes. Now what does Pooja's brother have? Let's call Pooja's brother as maybe Saurabh, right? So Pooja's brother Saurabh has black eyes. Okay. Now we see that her parents also. Now Pooja's parents, that means both her mother as well as her father, both of them have black eyes. So this is what is given to us. Now what do we see? We see that Pooja is married to Ravi. Okay. Ravi also has black eyes. But Ravi's mother, which is going to be hidden behind me, Ravi's mother will have green eyes, okay? And Ravi's father is having black eyes. Now based on this, right? Now based on this above given information, is green eye color a dominant trait or a recessive trait? Justify your answer. This is 1 mark. What do you think? Based on this story that we have just built, where you don't even need Ravika's story. Look at Pooja's family. Mother and father both black. Brother black eyes. But what about Pooja? Pooja's having green. So what could it possibly be? It is recessive, right? Yes. What is the reason behind it? The reason behind it is because if you look at it, Pooja's brother, family all have black eyes, which could possibly mean that this is a dominant trait. While we see that the occurrence of green eye color is very limited in generations, right? And present in less population. So less occurrence would be the right word to use. Very good, Ashvi. So here what do you see? In this particular case, you can say less occurrence, hence it is a recessive trait, right? So in this particular case with beautiful animations, we see that green eye color is a recessive trait. Now the next question is asking us, what could be the possible genetic makeup of Pooja's brother's eye color? Now what is given to us? Pooja's brother's eye color is black, right? It is black. That is what is given. Now, if this particular color has to come, we know that both her parents also have this. So the only way in which we are going to get, say this, right? Let's assume this particular recessive, homozygous recessive condition is when the parents are heterozygous, right? Will it be homozygous dominant? We can be homozygous dominant, yeah. So let's do the cross. See, he could have 2 possible combinations. He could either be a homozygous dominant guy or he could be a heterozygous guy also, right? So in his case, if Pooja has this, we see that he could either have homozygous condition or heterozygous condition. So he could be either of the two. Siddharth, please don't spam bacha, please don't spam or get distracted in class. Could be homozygous or hetero. Both could be right. I'll show you the answers, don't worry, end me. I'll do the NCERT question, Sunny. Don't spam, don't spam. Somatic cells, body cells, which are not gametes. Now here they are asking, what is the probability that the offspring Pooja and Ravi will have? So now we are talking about Pooja and Ravi, right? So here Pooja has green eyes, that means recessive trait. Father, let's assume he is homozygous dominant, will have green eyes. Also show the inheritance of eye color with the help of a suitable cross. Now in Ravi's family, if you see, we know that Ravi's mother has this, right? But Ravi's father has black eyes. Let me go back. So much story to remember. What is given? Ravi's mother has green eyes and his father has black eyes. So in this particular case, what do we see? Here, this is Pooja. But Ravi ke scenario will not be this. It will be heterozygous, right? This will, Ravi is heterozygous. Because what do we observe? Mother is green, father here has black, but Ravi also has black. So this is the only reason we are getting this. So Ravi has this and Pooja has recessive condition, right? Yeah, they gave the entire family tree. This is a little bit complicated question. It is complicated because story is there. If story was not there, it is easy only. I mean, if they were independent ones. So what will be the offsprings? What will we get at the end? So do this cross. So you have to cross this and this. Are you all with me? Yes or no? Before I go to the next part. So our cross will look something like this. Yes? This will how our cross look like, where 50%, right? 50% chance that they will have black eye color, 50% chance that they will have green eye color. Are you all with me? Santa roaster. Want to get blocked? Yes. Hi, ma'am. Explain. Ma'am, last step I am confused. See, basically, they are asking you, if Pooja and Ravi have babies, what will the possible eye colors be? Now for this, they gave us a little bit history about Ravi's family. Now Ravi has black eye color. But they said that Ravi's mother is having green color, which we have established is recessive, and Ravi's father is having black. So the only way in which Ravi will have black eye color if he is heterozygous dominant. So what have we done? We have established that Ravi is heterozygous dominant. Heterozygous dominant for black eye color. Are you all with me? Yes? Are you all with me? How we got that Ravi will have this color? We all now know, right? So much we are clear. Now from here what happened? Ma'am, why is dad homozygous? Because Ravi has black eye, mother has green. Only way Ravi will get black if he is homozygous dominant, right? Okay. Now of course, along with this, right? They are saying if I cross a heterozygous dominant with Pooja who has green eye color, which we have already established as recessive, that means she is homozygous. What will I get, right? What will I get? I have to do this cross. So when I do this cross, what will I do? I will see that I will get 50% black and 50% green. So are you all clear? Now are you clear with the cross? Yes or no? You need to go back. This is a case that you will most likely see. This is a previous year paper. I have one more question from last year's board exam paper and you will get an idea of what kind of questions will come. Because they have changed the format of asking questions, right? Now if you constantly decide to spam and I am teaching, it will be difficult. Okay? Cool. Now the last part they're saying is 50% of offsprings of Pooja's brother. Now we have gone to Pooja's brother. So now what earlier the question is, Pooja's brother we decided could either be homozygous dominant or heterozygous dominant, right? So what could be the question? They're saying ki in Pooja's brother's case, we saw that 50% are green-eyed. So if Pooja's brother decides to have a baby, right? Let's assume he had a baby. So 50% of the offsprings of Pooja's brothers are green-eyed. With the help of this cross, can you show what is possible? So here, what we can understand is that if Pooja's brother has to give us this combination, where we are getting 50% green, then he will not be homozygous dominant anymore. What will he be? He will be heterozygous dominant. Because only then, if he is heterozygous dominant and then his wife has green eyes, right? Only then he will get offsprings, or he will get babies which will have 50% of green eyes. Now are you clear? Abhi, see, in the case of Pooja and Ravi, they made you cross, right? And arrive at 50% black and 50% green. Now what are they making you do? From this 50% green information, they are making you go backwards and try to identify who is the parent. So are you clear now? Or tell me, ma'am, essa information has gone above my head. Zoom, it has gone. Ma'am, homozygous recessive and heterozygous. Ma'am, this NCRT question I will take. You don't worry. Yeah, this question is jumping forward. This question made me forget my own family. Ma'am, what is progeny? Baby. Ma'am, like aeroplane it went, ma'am, okay. Ma'am, we studied genetic of 3 generations. Exactly. You can do Punnett square in your mind, Ashvi, but for that you have to practice more on paper. That is what I'll tell you. At this rate, at this age of teaching genetics so much, I also make mistakes. Let's do the whole thing one last time. Last question. Now what was given to us? Actually, for that I need to go here. Okay. Let's have a look here. What is given to us? Actually, just give me 1 minute. I'll duplicate this slide and I'll make it empty a little bit so that I can explain. I put this on the speaker notes so that I can see the remaining questions. Okay. Now let's understand this. No worry. We'll quickly do this question one last time. Okay. Now what is given to us? We see that we have Pooja here. Okay. Pooja here has green eyes. Yes. Now here Pooja has a brother who we will call as Saurabh. Yes. Now Saurabh here has black eyes. Now we see that there is mother and father. Okay. Now both her parents here have black eyes. This is what is given to us. Now Pooja is married to Ravi. Okay. Pooja is married to Ravi who has black eyes. Yes. But we see that in Ravi's mother's case, Ravi's mother has green eyes and Ravi's father has black. Put everything in one page. Now Pooja and Ravi are married. Now one, they are asking what is dominant and recessive. So here we have established that green that is there is a recessive trait, right? Green eye color is recessive. Will express itself only in homozygous condition, right? So it will express itself only in homozygous condition. Now based on this, right? Based on this, what do we have to do? We have to figure out what is the genetic makeup. Now, if this is recessive for Pooja, if green eye color is recessive, this is how we will represent, right? Genotype wise, how will I represent? I will represent it as BB. But now because Saurabh, who is our brother, he is having black eye color. Now he could either be homozygous dominant or he could be heterozygous dominant. These are the two possibilities given so far. Now what did they say? They said that if Pooja and Ravi have young ones, right? If they have offsprings, what is the percentage chance? Now for this, we know what is the genotype for Pooja. But how have we decided Ravi's genotype? Let's understand. We have a mother ka genotype we know. It is homozygous recessive, green eye color. But Ravi is having black. Now how is the only way in which Ravi can have black eye color if mother is having recessive condition? if he is a heterozygous. He will be heterozygous when father is homozygous dominant. So that is how I have arrived at Ravi's genotype. Now when I do the Punnett square, what will I get? I will get 50% of offsprings who are having black eye color, 50 who are having green eye color. Why? Because I did the cross, right? I have done the cross of this, and that is how I have arrived. Now what did they do? They have done ulta. Now the last part of the question is telling us that they have given us this information. Ki Saurabh, who is Pooja's brother, let's assume if he has 50% of offsprings who have green eye color, how will he get the green eye colored ones? The only way in which that statistic is possible is when this is heterozygous and his wife has green eye color. So now are you clear? Now are we clear? I have explained the whole question at one go. Yash, please maintain the decorum of the class, right? All good now? Genotype is the genetic makeup, Soumya. Phenotype is basically the observable feature. Yes? Crystal clear. Awesome. Now we will move on to question number... Where am I? Oh, I've gone ahead of myself. So basically that is how we write the answer. Yes? See, very good. Don't forget to hit the like button, students. In the meanwhile, if you're enjoying the class, don't forget to hit the like button on the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. Very, very important. Now let's move on to question number 8 and 9. Last two questions. Okay? This is very interesting. This is a new form of question. So we have two pea plants. So let's write down what is given. What is given to us? We have one pea plant which has round and yellow. Yes? So we have round and yellow here. Then what do we have? We have another one which is like this, right? Which is wrinkled and green. Straightforward dihybrid cross with a twist, okay? With a twist. Nikhil, Harshita, all want to get blocked on the channel. Continue. Otherwise, pay attention, please. Neeta, I did answer your question, no? I explained the whole thing because you were getting confused on how we took Ravi's this one, but I've explained. Let's come to this one. So we got F1 generation. So what is our F1? This is our F1, right? Which will be round and yellow. So this we have arrived at. Now what did they do? They took F1 and they crossed it, right? So they took F1 and they crossed it, and we got F2 progeny where we got some new combination of characters. So we have got new combination of characters. Now what they have given to us is that there are a total of 160 seeds. Okay, we have got a total of 160 seeds on doing this cross. How many amongst these 160 will give us these new combination? Did you find this question interesting or no? It's actually pretty interesting, right? We have 160 given. This requires a little bit of math. Calculation also. So can you all try once and give me the answer? In the meanwhile, I'll be back in 1 minute. Yes, okay. Simple. Is it 3:1 ratio, or will you take 9:3 3:1? Ma'am, is it 30 or 60? You give me the answer first, then I'll tell you the answer. Ma'am, not understanding, ma'am. White flag. No, it's okay, Geetika. Try it out. Ma'am, 40. Are you all calculating correctly? I hope you are calculating correctly. No, class is not lagging for everybody else. I think you are facing some technical issue. Okay. See, this is a standard dihybrid cross, okay? So what did they tell you? they told that they took parents which have round and yellow, right? So there was a parent which was round and yellow, which we will represent like this, crossed with wrinkled and green, right? It was wrinkled and green, which was in this combination. Now, in F1 generation, what did I get? I got all which were round and yellow, right? Because heterozygous condition. Now, when I crossed this, these are my parents. Remember, what are my new combination? My new combinations that are there. So, when I take this and cross it again in F2, what are my possible phenotypes? I will get round and yellow, yes. And because this is dominant, I will get 9 of them. Then, of course, I'll get round and green. Then I'll get wrinkled and yellow. And then I will get wrinkled and green, right? Wrinkled and green. Now they're asking me what are the new combinations. So this is in the ratio of 9:3:3:1. So what will we get here? They have said that in F2, I have got all these combinations. What are my new combinations? What are my new combinations? It is these two, right? I'll get these two. So here they told me I got a total of 160 seeds. How many of them are going to have this? How many of them are going to have this? Just 1 minute, all of you. Okay, so here how are we going to get this? Now, you have got 3, right? Now here you have to do 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 into 160. Guys, who are giving me answer as? So how will you calculate the ratio? It is 9:3:3:1. You need to get for this. So here 3 by what? 3 by 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1. This is your total. Into how many? Into 160. So what will this be? 3 by 16, right? So this is going to be 3 by 16. Yes? Yeah. Into 160. Now you tell me, who are the ones giving me 40 as the answer? How did you get 40? This is 10. So you will get 30. But why are you doing into 2, Ashvi? Why into 2, you tell me? Why are you doing into 2? Because you have 2 combinations, right? You have 2 combinations. You have one which is round and green, and you have wrinkled and yellow. So you cannot give me 60 as the answer because there are 2 different combinations. So the answer is actually 30 seeds which are round and green, 30 which are wrinkled and yellow. Are you clear now? Did you get that? See, 60 you have done total and given me the answer. If you give 60 as the answer, I'll give you wrong marks. Because you are telling me 60 you are giving for what? One combination. No, na? That into 2 you don't need. You just need to solve for 1. And you need to say that, you cannot add 2 combinations. Those of you who are giving me 60 as the answer, you have added this and this. How can you add? These are 2 different combinations. Which is why here what do we see? We see that in this particular case, the answer will be 30 seeds that are round and green and 30 seeds which are wrinkled and yellow. So are you all clear? Leelavati, are you talking to me? Ma'am, can you explain why wrinkled and green was not chosen? Wrinkled and green was not chosen because that is there in the parent. It is not a new combination, right? So here it is not a new combination appearing. A new combination has appeared only in F2. But parents ko if you see, you are getting this. Yes? Are we clear? Lion Gaming, bacha, if you spam, what is the point? Are we all clear with this question? Yes or no? Have we understood the concept behind it? It is a little bit of math that you need to apply in your dihybrid crosses. Veer, Very good, I'm so proud that you are proud. But don't spam. No point in spamming. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Now we'll move on to the last question for today, because the 10th question for all of you is the homework, right? Ma'am, then we should take 6. You have the same doubt as Ashvi. See, it is like me. How do I explain this? You imagine you have got 2 new combinations, right? You are getting one set of seeds which are round and yellow, one set of seeds which are wrinkled and green. No, one which are round and green and one which are wrinkled and yellow. You are giving me the total number. But individually you have to tell me how much of those seeds are new combination. That's why you cannot total it. That's why you will not do into 2. You have to do it separately. Yes? I have explained it to you with the math. You can just quickly go back and watch it once again. It should be clear. Yes? Awesome. Okay. So let's move on to question number 9, right? Question number 9. Vanshika, you pay attention in class first. Otherwise, you watch the video later. Don't disturb my students who are studying. Okay. Now we have one more story. Now this is again, oh yeah, this is the question which has come in your 2022. 22-23 PYQ. Case-based question PYQ. So this is going to be very important, okay? This has come last year. This is from your last year paper. In order to trace the inheritance of Mendel crosses in pea plants, one which has a contrasting character, or let's say a pair of contrasting characters. So he took the pea plant which had round and yellow seeds, another one having wrinkled and green. Now he observed that in the F1 generation, there were no wrinkled and green plants obtained. Whereas in F2, he saw different combinations. Now, based on this, he is asking 4 questions, right? They're asking 3 questions. Write any 2 pairs of contrasting characters of pea plant used by Mendel other than those mentioned above. So, right now, they have taken what? Seed shape and seed color, right? Seed color. Now here these are 2 characteristics which are mentioned, right? So here they are saying that these are 2 contrasting characters which Mendel took to study some crosses. Now the first part of the question is generic. Yes, they are generic, where it is asking you, apart from seed shape and seed color, what are the contrasting characters that Mendel took to study genetics? Very good. Tall. You can say height of the plant, where it is tall and dwarf. You can talk about color of flower, which is violet and violet and white. Yes. So you can give these 2. You need to only give any type of such questions. So you can talk about any 2 contrasting characters. Need not be related to dihybrid cross. So this right here you can mention height of plant, which we already know. And you can mention color of flower, or you can talk about shape of pod. You can give all of these questions. Yes? Okay. Now the next one they are asking you is again, ma'am, tall, round, wrinkled, green. No. Students, they are asking you, Mendel took 2 contrasting characters to study this. Can you give me 2 more examples of any contrasting character? Right? So you can give any 2, need not be related to this. So height of plant, which has tall and dwarfness, color of flower, violet and white. So that is what we need to talk about it. Any 2. Next one is differentiate between dominant and recessive trait. Easy. What is a dominant trait? A dominant trait is a one which will always express itself in both homozygous condition, and it will express itself in heterozygous condition, right? So it will always express. While recessive trait is one which will express itself only in homozygous condition. Easy. State the ratio of combination that you see in F2. Easy, no? You just need to mention this. What do you interpret from this result? Easy. Again, mention that it is 9:3:3:1. Then you can mention Y, right? So here in this particular case, you can mention the answer in this format. So I have the answer written cleanly. So here, as you can see, you can mention that seed color, height, flower color are all contrasting characters. Dominant traits are always why. What is the difference between dominant and recessive? In F2, this is the ratio known as dihybrid ratio. Easy. Okay. So with the students, how are we feeling? How are we all feeling with the class today? Are we all feeling better? On a scale of 1 to 10, how are we feeling? Ki ma'am, now if I get some questions, I will be able to sort it out. Now ma'am, it's okay. I know that sometimes I may not have understood anything, but I'm feeling much better. See, if you are still confused, I am sure that by now you would have understood that conceptually there might be some things that we are not clear about. So go back and watch the one shot, watch the video that I done earlier which has more questions. We will be having more PDFs. So understand that case based there's a high chance that you will get questions from Heredity, which is why I request all of you to pay attention in class, right? So the more and more you practice, the more you can get such questions, both in your MCQ based question and in the final one also. Yes? So finally, the 10th question is your homework question for the day, right? So this is going to be your homework question where you need to give me the answer in the comments of this video. Ma'am, will only such numericals come? MCQ that I showed you, there are high chances that we get this. But the seed wala one with the number, 160, that's a new format of questions which is high competency based. There are chances you can get this. Afshin, what is homozygous and heterozygous? Homozygous is a condition where it is similar. When both the alleles are similar or the chromosomes are similar in pair, that is homozygous. When you have one dominant trait and one recessive trait, that is heterozygous, right? Okay. So if you like the class, please don't forget to hit the like button on this video. Very important that you like this video. You let me know in the comments also that what more kind of classes that you want from our end, what type of practice that you need, right? And of course, you know BYJU'S 9th and 10th grade channel has got you covered, and we will be coming up with more and more interesting classes your way. So you need to hit the subscribe button. Most importantly, this Friday or by next week, we have some exciting things coming for your preparation. So you have to hit the like button and you have to subscribe, because Friday ko we will be telling you a lot more interesting things, what all prep we have ready for you, and this is the place. If you like the way we teach and if you know that we will take you till the very end in order for you to ace your board exam, then you have to stay with us. Yes? Now, of course, if Divyanshu is still there with me, I don't know if Divyanshu is still there, but many of you have your exams coming up and you want to learn effective strategies for exam prep. Let me tell you one thing. Before your examination, one day before, cramming information into your head is not going to work, right? I'll be very honest. One day before you want to cram 8 chapters into your head, it's going to be very difficult. So try to prioritize your, see, in case we're going to study from scratch, then of course, make sure you cover all the important concepts rather than pura ka pura. But if you have 1 week left, make it a point that you study all the chapters clearly, and for revision, keep the topics that you feel unsure of. Be confident, right? Be confident about what you have studied. See, it's very difficult that confidence closer and closer to the exams becomes lesser and lesser. Pura year, you'll be like, yeah, I got this. But when the exam comes, no, even if you feel confident, there will be a part of you which may tell you, maybe you are not good. Maybe you have not studied enough. Maybe you've been regular to every single class, but there will be that tinge of doubt that will keep poking your head. So I will request that when that kind of doubt comes into your mind where you think that maybe I am not good, maybe I have not studied. If you feed on it, right? If you keep feeding on it, then it becomes worse and worse as you grow higher and higher. So at the, what do you say, at the but stage only you nip it off. When you have such thoughts, suppress it with positive thoughts, right? Like a dominant trait that you have, suppress it with positive thoughts and tell yourself, Arey, no, I've got this. I know it. And if you go wrong later also, tell yourself, no, it's a pre-board, I will be able to manage, right? I am going to manage, I will be just fine. So keep yourself, have a lot of positive energy, keep always, right? Keep pushing yourself and telling that you have got this. Yes? And we're all there with you. So don't worry about it. You're not alone. Maybe physically you're alone to write the exam, but mentally we're all there for you, right? So students, don't worry. This is the last leg and we're here with you. So there's nothing to worry about. So thank you all for staying with me till the very end. I will see you all soon. All of you take care. Lots of love to all of you. Up until then, see you. Bye-bye. Good night.